Hello, welcome to Kip's Bits. This is the secondary channel of me, Kip Hakes. Now this stuff here is sort of things that aren't maybe as interesting or as sort of YouTube friendly as the videos that I do on my main channel. It's just a bit more specialist, I guess. So you might have seen over on the main channel, or you might not have just yet because I've not finished the video, but I'm doing a mod on my Atari 2600 and it is the RGB mod, which adds an RGB SCART connection to the back of my Atari 2600. So I've got here the kit to build the Tim Worthington RGB SCART cable. Now this works with both the Atari 2600 RGB mod and also the NES RGB mod that Tim Worthington makes. And I don't think there's any videos on YouTube of this being built, so I thought, well, I need to build it, so I might as well film it. The instructions are actually quite comprehensive and pretty decent, but I just thought sometimes people like seeing stuff happening rather than reading a list of instructions. So I'm basically going to build it roughly how Tim recommends. Now you might notice some bits and bobs here on my desk. I am still doing the RGB mod on the Atari, but we need the cable to actually test it. And I guess I can't really test it in this video because I've not done the work yet. So go watch that video and see if this cable has been a success. So what's in the kit? Well, it's a quite interesting kit. It's not your average RGB SCART cable. So first of all, it comes with two cables. This is for the audio from the RGB mod, and it's just a sort of standard 3.5mm jack on each end of the cable. And then in this little baggie here, we've got a mini DIN cable. Now both of these will plug into the Atari and the NES, and it separates the audio signal and the video signal so there's less interference, which I think is pretty cool. So yeah, one end of this will plug into the console and the other end will plug into this. And this is basically the kit we've got to build today, and it goes inside this SCART connector. There's a little board, we've got to do some soldering, and yeah, that's what we're going to do. Now also in the kit are these sort of bits of tubing stuff to actually put these two cables together. I don't think I'm going to do that because yeah, it's purely optional and aesthetical. And yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be doing that part of it. So the soldering is the bit that we're sort of here for, maybe. So let's have a little look what we've got in the kit. I have had a look at this before, so you know, it's not a complete surprise. So we've got a RGB SCART connector, and it opens up like that. And this is the collar that goes on the end there. And we've also got this printed circuit board which we will solder onto this connector. And here we've got a mini DIN socket, and we've also got the 3.5mm jack socket, and those go here. And also we've got a little LED that will sort of poke out of the end here like that, where the cable would normally go, and that basically shows that there's 5 volts there, because SCART uses a 5-volt signal to basically switch over the channel. Can you remember back in the day if you turned your old Skybox on and it was connected via SCART, your TV would probably change over to the SCART input? Well, that's what it was. It was a 5-volt being shoved up that line. And yeah, basically this LED is going to show that the 5-volt is present. So the circuit board sort of sits in here like that. And yeah, we've got to solder those connections across the top and then flip it over and do the connections on the bottom, and also solder in the connections for the connections and also the LED. So yeah, the instructions recommend that you lay the board and the SCART connector in the case, and then you solder pins 20, which is there, and pin number 2. So we'll do that. So excuse me. Nice. Cool. Okay, so something we now need to do is put the LED in. So you'll see here that that says A, and that is for anode. And I believe that's the positive terminal of the LED. It's the one with the longer leg, basically. So we need to sort of make sure the LED goes within this little lip of here. Bit like that. Although I'm just going to trim a little bit off the legs, but yeah, the LED is kind of wedged in one of the sort of cable grippy bits there. But we just need to take a tiny bit off the legs, but still make sure one of them is the long leg, because it could all go horribly wrong then. Cool. There you go, that's roughly in position. So just whack on a blob of solder. Nice. So what we can do now is hopefully we can take this out and the connector will be attached. Ha-ha! So we're just going to whiz across and solder each of those pins on, but out of the case. So I'm going to quickly speed through that. There we go. Pretty happy with that. All looks about right. No harm in just checking the connections quickly for continuity. Not quite happy with one of those. That's better. That's better. Right, okay, so now we've got to flip it over and do the same again on this side. So I'm just going to tack it in on either end, and then also got to join the LED as well on this side. Cool. But I'm just going to run along and just solder the rest before I put the sockets on. Nice. Really straightforward, really nice to do actually. Right, I'm just going to do another continuity check just in case. Perfect. Yeah, it all seems to fit really nicely. Now we've just got to do the soldering of the connectors at the end. Right, so for the connectors, you do the soldering on this side. So the connectors go in here. Now this is a little bit of a sort of mission, because you've got lots of little legs and little pins. I think mine have got slightly bent through shipping. We'll get there, we'll get there. There we go. Just got to eyeball and make sure all the legs are poking through. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of solder on each pin. Yeah, not my neatest soldering work, but it's in. Right, now we just got to do the same with the sound connector. Now this is funny, the legs are sort of quite splayed out. I don't know if they'll sort of spring in when I push through. Oh yeah, there we go. Nice. Nice. Right, so now we've just got to solder 6 more bits. Nice and straightforward. Yeah, cool. That'll do. No bridges or anything like that. All seems pretty good, yeah. So now all we need to do is basically put it back in the case. There we go. And close the lid, and then just put this screwy guy on the end. And there we go. So our LED will be showing if there's a 5-volt signal there. And got our connections here for the video output and the audio output. So yeah, all we need to do is get our cable from the kit and plug it in. There we go. And then plug in the audio. And there you go. The finished cable. And these other ends will eventually plug into the back of my Atari, but I need to finish that off first. So there you go. That is the Tim Worthington RGB SCART cable, all built and ready to go. So yeah, why don't you join me over on my main channel to see the finished product working, hopefully. Anyway, I don't think I've got anything else to say, so thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, but for now, it's game over.